I was born in Peru, South America. I was kind of forced to grow up very fast. My dad, he had this alcohol problem that he developed and only got worse and worse the older I got. He was always a good dad, but he would become more and more absent as I got older. And my mom, she had to work a lot. So she worked a ton just trying to support our family. I grew up very quickly into knowing like, okay, this is our family situation. We don't have a lot of money. We don't have a lot of things. Life is kind of difficult. My dad's not here a lot. And so when I was 9 years old, my mom and my dad, they took me to this park, sat me down on a bench, and they asked me to make a decision. Either stay in Peru with my dad or go to the United States with my mom. And I decided that I wanted to move to the States with my mom. And so we decided to pack up our things and move to the States. When I came to the States, I had to learn a new language, had to just learn the culture. And so I made a decision, like I'm gonna do this by myself. Like I don't need anyone's help. I don't need anyone to tell me what to do. I don't need people. I got into a point in my life where there's a lot of things that I didn't quite understand. I would hear my friends say that they were atheists. And so naturally I was like, yeah, me too. Like I'm an atheist. I don't believe in God. There can't be a God. Because if there was a God, these things wouldn't have happened. My dad wouldn't be a drunk. Our situation in Peru wouldn't have gotten to the point it got to if there really was a God. Like none of this would have happened. For college, I went to UTD. I was a pre-med student. Going to college, there weren't a lot of people that I surrounded myself with. But I had these friends from high school that I still knew. One weekend, they're like, hey, like, I'm gonna go check out this gym in Richardson. Could you give me a ride and just come with me? And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll go check it out. And that's when the first time that I ever walked into the Muay Thai gym. Now, Muay Thai is kickboxing from Thailand. And so after one class, I decided to join the gym. So the family who owned the gym, I started hanging out with them a lot. And I really liked them. I didn't know exactly why, but there was just something about them that was different. And then one weekend, they invited me to go to church with them. They said like, hey, like we're gonna go check out this church in Frisco. And there was just something different. I walk into the auditorium for the first time, and honestly, I was just really blown away. There's all these lights, and the band is playing. It sounds kind of like a concert. My first take was like, wow, this is different. This is kind of cool. Just feeling like, okay, like I can stomach this. Then this guy walks out onto the stage, and then he stopped the message. And there was this family that he was addressing. Their dad had just passed away. And I remember Pastor Keith saying, look at this family, they're here, going through the worst moment of their life. And yet, they're here on the Sunday.
Can I tell you that right over here about the third row, there's a chair missing today? Because a mighty man in this house, a faithful servant of God in this house, Rob Moore, passed away last night. That's a man who didn't just drag into church like whenever he felt like it, but was here every service.
And there's something that really spoke to me about that, you know, because I have a dad model what coming to church would look like on the worst day of my life. Because I didn't think God was there for me on the worst day of my life. I didn't think that God was there for me at all. And so that's the moment that something flipped in my mind, that I want to give God my life because I want to be that kind of dad. I want to have that kind of family. That even on our worst day, even when things seem lost, even when things seem hopeless, we're going to show up and we're going to honor God because we serve a good God. And I remember that on that day, I gave my life to Christ.
If you're here and you say, Keith, I got some trouble going on in my heart. I got some trouble going on in my mind. I got some trouble going on in my life. If that's you, lift up your hand right now. If that's you, keep your hand raised just for a second, because here's what I want to tell you. When you're troubled, the Lord comes and He reminds you, you're not where you came from. You're not what other people say about you. You're not even what your last name or what your family is. You are who God says that you are. The Lord is with you, and with God, nothing is impossible.
I got saved, and it was very emotional and very wonderful, but my life still looked the same. Even though I was coming to church every weekend, I felt further and further from God. Because on one hand, I knew God, which was such an amazing gift, but on the other hand, my life was just such a mess. And I was still trying to hang on to my old lifestyle, and it just wasn't working. And so I started serving everywhere I could. As I started taking the focus off myself, all the negative things in my life, and shifted my focus to other people, all of a sudden, people didn't seem as bad. Relationships didn't seem like such a bad option. And I started making friends and building relationships through serving. That year is the year that I made the most relationships I could have made. And it was a very difficult year, but it was also the best year of my life because something had changed. All of a sudden, here's about us and the people that I got to serve. If it wasn't for serving, my life wouldn't look the way that it looks today. It's because of serving that I met my wife. If it wasn't for serving, I wouldn't have the son that I have today. Serving has been one of the best gifts that God has given me through the ELC.